All right. So everybody, give me like just a brief, like elevator pitch of each of your characters, please.
All
We'll
at
start
once?
at the yeah, all at once. Everybody speak over each other, and the loudest person wins. No, we'll
that's
start at the.
obviously Nodal.
We're gonna start at the top with Brickroad since you're at the top of the order there.
Wait, let me refresh my memory of what. I've been trying for like the past 2 minutes to find where I put my personality traits and stuff on here, and I can't find them.
Awesome! I'm so glad that he's getting the experience.
Yeah,
Our pain. That should be on your character sheet, Brickroad.
it should be, but this character sheet doesn't make any sense. It
Our
should be in
page
the
should be on
top,
his character sheet.
in the
I'm not
top
sure about
right
that.
corner of the character sheet is where it should be.
The funny thing is, I actually can't help you immediately because I'm not using TNT Beyond for this one.
Okay, there it is. I have rolled up a level 1 Centaur Barbarian named Herbie.
Like the classic Greek name.
I imagine it's like Herbicus, but he had a very doting mother. He's a hermit. He is an
Herbie the Hermit.
Herbie the Hermit. He is a follower of Athreos. Treble, you're going to give a rundown of our gods, or do you want us to do it? Or does it not matter? Should we not bother?
It doesn't. They don't really play. If you want to talk about them, you can, just because it's pretty central to the lore.
Okay.
But the only god that's actually relevant in this is Phoenix.
Athreos is the god of passages. Shortest description ever. He's carrying the oarsman that takes the souls of the dead to the underworld. Ideal, take what little you need. Endeavor to need little. Bonds, Athreos has set me to a path between roads. I shall walk it. Flaws, etiquette is a waste of time, and time is short.
Okay. Go down the list. Are you still a Leonin, or did you like decide to be the Minotaur?
No, totally. Yeah. Leonin Bard named Brygooz. I think that's how you say that. I don't know. I just got the name from the whatever it was. I didn't do all of the personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws stuff, but my perception of him is that he's a big goofball, and he tries to be very entertaining and is not really good at it because he's a giant lion, and that's not what they're really known for.
Okay. And you're a bard, right?
Yeah, his alignment is chaotic good.
All right, cool. So we're just gonna have Adrix again. That's fine.
No,
Adrix.
Not Adrix. Definitely not Adrix.
Odrix. Odrix the Minotaur.
He's a Leonin.
I like to think that Brygooz is smarter than Adrix.
Wait, you know Brygooz? Then I can help you pass.
McDohl, tell us about your Leonin.
So, not gonna lie, I didn't do characters, bonds, and all that kind of stuff, but I had the same kind of idea and a vibe for the character, but he's a wizard. So, he's a...
What was your name?
Yeah, I hadn't really thought of that. Like, names...
Bob the Wizard.
Yeah, Bob the Wizard, no. Ryan.
Man, you're gonna get a lot of confused people thinking you're a bard.
I know, right? I'm not a bard, I'm a wizard.
Is it rhyme like R-I-M-E?
No, it's Rhine.
Brine, as in...
Oh, brine. I heard rhyme.
Rhine is in like Rhine.
Oh, okay.
Like R-E-Y,
Like
and then I
Rhine.
think it's...
Yeah.
R-H-I-N-E, actually.
Why would someone name a character Rhine?
Because it's time.
I think it's a good name for a bard.
Yeah, I like it.
Yes.
What is that noise? Does anyone else hear that?
What noise?
No one else heard that. Okay, something's wrong. All right,
What
go forward.
What a bunch of jokers.
All right, Destil, please save us.
Alright, so my character's named Wadacles. He is a Triton cleric.
I'm
Of
sorry, did you say Odysseys?
Yep.
Excellent.
He's a Triton cleric of Thassa. His entire village was destroyed by a massive sea creature, and since then he has been in combination of awe and seething rage at all the many mechanisms of the sea.
It's just his enemy. His enemy is the ocean.
Well, not
Just
quite.
see
It's
him-
a
just see him
complicated
punching the ocean.
relationship. He both loves and hates the ocean as he both loves and hates himself.
And that particular goddess is like.
So Thassa is kind of like if you took 80% Poseidon and 15% Athena and mixed them together.
So Osprey. Thassa is Osprey.
Yeah, I was about to say she's very similar to the way Brick does Osprey.
I kind of read Thassa as a little bit more aloof
Confident?
and yeah, definitely more confident. But yeah, pretty close, pretty
And
damn close. to Osprey.
Thassa also probably would not suffer pirates to sail her waters.
All right, Nodal, tell us about your amazing name.
All right, I'm playing as Measured Response, the Minotaur Barbarian of Keranos. Keranos is the god of wisdom and storms. And what did I write down here for ideals and bonds and flaws? I didn't have a bond. Ideals, there's always a solution to every problem. And flaws, let's wrap this up.
That's a good one.
It's a great name for a barbarian.
All right, so the five of you are walking down the road currently to one of the major polises of Theros, specifically Milites.
Point of order.
What?
Brickroad is trotting down the road.
No. You're carrying me piggyback style. Because you're a goddamn
okay, that makes more
Minotaur.
sense.
Whether or not your characters know each other is really up to you. But I suppose since you're carrying a Centaur, and what I'm assuming is a bridal carry.
Fireman's
mean-
carry.
We take turns.
No. It has to be a bridal carrier. I won't allow it. That you guys are on your way to Militis for various reasons that are personal and outside of the scope of this. So we're going to just jump right in.
So Odysseys is going there to get his first haircut in 8 months, right?
So we're going to Theros? What's Theros?
Theros is the world. You're going to how do you pronounce that?
It's all
Milites?
Greeks to me.
Yeah.
Milites. What's Milites known for?
Milites is basically the center of learning. It is
It's Athens.
Yeah, it's Athens. 100% Athens. It
Got
is
it.
the center of
What's their-
learning.
What's their patron god? Do we know that?
I don't know if they have one.
Oof.
They probably do.
Sounds like a good way to get your place burned down.
Well, which goddess is it that's like the god of the polis? Like she's the mother of
The
civilization.
blue-white one that returns a creature to your hand at the start of your turn.
All right.
Wow.
there.
You're gonna have fun with this campaign, aren't you?
Is
like
it
four-
Afara? Yeah, it's Afara.
Yeah.
The blue
So-
white one that returns a creature.
So, who is the asshole who actually owns 2 islands and keeps them untapped, whatever that means?
Me. It's me.
We should point out for confused viewers that the adventure is printed in the Mythic Odysseys of Theros book,
Mhm.
which is ancient Greece as viewed through the lens of Magic the Gathering adapted for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, so we're like 4 levels of geek deep at this point.
Geek deep.
It's yeah. But yeah, Afara is the god of the polis, one of the interesting things about this setting, if you're not familiar with it, is the gods are basically as powerful as any other D&D gods, but only within the plane of Theros. They actually cannot function outside of Theros, and then like the two adjoining planes, which I assume are one of them is the underworld, and I think the other one is like their version of Mount Olympus. And the most interesting thing about this setting to me is that belief makes things real. Like you can clap your hands if you believe a thing into existence, if enough people believe in it. And that's how all the gods in this setting came to be. Like people started, some asshole went, yeah, there's a god of war, and then like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And enough people started talking about the god of war, and the god of war just popped into existence. So yeah, the general flow of like people in Theros are they believe heavily in like fate and destiny, and that's why they like heroes so much, because they believe that like your path in life is set at your birth, and you just kind of plod along until you die and then go to the underworld. But heroes kind of buck bait, and that's why they like the stories. They also have a weirdly like no concept of time. Like when they tell stories, they don't say 10 years ago, they say a long time ago. So like you get this weird thing where things like roll into myth pretty quickly as compared to a lot of other settings, because to them like 10 years ago is like a lifetime. It's the I blame bards. It's usually their fault. So again, like I said, you guys are going to Melitis, and Melitis is the Athens for shorthand. It is I want to say democratic, but I don't know if that's the correct term. It is, and again, you're going there for just whatever. I just picked that one out of a hat. It could have went to any of the polises. The polis is not very central to this adventure, unfortunately. I wish they had introduced a little more in there, but it's really merely a backdrop. So,
is this the map of Melitis here?
Yes,
dice?
It's just dice.
Okay.
No, you're not in Melitis. You're on the road to Melitis.
Gotcha.
Pay attention.
Sorry.
Pay attention. There will be a test. So the sun sinks low in the west, stretching shadows across the well-traveled road, only a mile or so from the polis's edge. At your current rate, you, along with a loose crowd of other travelers, should reach the polis outskirts just before dark. Not everyone's moving at a leisurely pace, though. A loud noise sounds from behind you as a horse rounds the bend in a road, galloping at its top speed. The beast looks frantic, terrified, and is frothing with exertion. Upon it sways a figure wearing a gold mask. The rider barely manages to stay in the saddle. His body is bristling with cruel black arrows. Blind with panic, the horse plows on, threatening to trample travelers as they leap out of its path. Before it can, though, the beast's legs give way. Both mount and rider topple, crashing into the dust with a piercing whinny and a sound like snapping branches. What do you gentlemen do?
Can I make a religion check to see if I understand the significance of that mask?
Yes. Basic. Everyone give me just a straight intelligence check.
Okay.
On the mask.
It's a 19.
Got it.
Okay.
13.
20.
17.
13.
Did anybody? Okay. All right. So all of you immediately recognize this figure as one of the returned. Returned are undead that have they're basically people that have died, went to the underworld, and then they forsook their identity to travel back to on this side of the river that separates life and death. And there's a lot of things that you may or may not know about the return. They don't have faces underneath the masks, for one. They are... They just kind of play at a semblance of life. They are undead. They play at a semblance of life. They have emotions, and they have... can have wants and desires, but really they just kind of flit through life and kind of are very similar to like your ideal minion, where they're kind of followers and things like that. Most notably, the biggest information that you might have is the god Phoenix was the first of the returned.
Who gives them the mask?
They make their own masks.
So this one was riding this horse. He's filled with arrows. The horse's leg gives out and he crumples to the ground before trampling anybody.
What would you say, Destil?
I was going to let you answer Brick first.
Yes, that is exactly what happened. He is currently laying in the ground on his horse, and the horse is kind of laying there, breathing heavily.
Then I'm going to move forth
Is
with
the
my
horse
axe.
or the returned that's filled with arrows?
The horse is not filled with arrows, just the being on top of it.
Yeah, I'm going to step forward with my axe and slay the returned.
Returned are not necessarily they're not evil.
I get it, but I'm a follower of Theros, and he's a returned.
Okay.
So.
Oh, that is a good point. So when you get over to the figure,
Mm-hmm.
He's not moving.
Okay.
He is already slain by the arrows that were piercing his sides. I'm gonna have to make.
Is there any? Or do I see like any cover anywhere where someone might have been firing arrows from nearby?
No. He ran across the back corner of the bend in the road pretty quickly, and he could have been traveling for some time before he expired. Can somebody give me a wisdom and animal handling check?
I got a 1 on that.
I have a +2.
I have a +2 as well. Why don't I assist you?
0.
Yeah, same.
You're going to assist me?
Yeah.
Just assume because I'm half animal, I know how to handle animals?
I mean, I mostly know how to handle sharks.
That's 20.
I've been handling you all day.
20. So, Herbie, you look down at this horse and you can tell that it's exhausted and it's suffering from like a multitude of minor abrasions. But if you give it water, food, with some water, food, and a little rest, the horse, a red roan mare, will recover fully in a day.
I thought its legs had snapped.
No, it just tripped.
The arrow snapped.
The arrow snapped. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I know I heard something snap.
Yeah. So simple tooling on the horse's bridle reveals the name Fotina.
Fotina is the horse's name?
Yes. You assume it's the horse's name.
All right, I'd begin tending to the horse.
All right.
I'm gonna pick through the pockets for loose change.
When you reach down to kind of start to go through the loose pockets, go through the poor undead, re-dead returns pockets, the sound of racing hoofs rise like rolling thunder from the direction the fallen rider emerged. 2 more riders round the bend, both wearing dark tunics. The fading light glints upon the snarling gold masks both wear.
Do they have weapons?
Yes, they are very armed.
Are they armed with bows?
Give me 1 second and I will tell you.
I can't figure out whether I love or hate the fact that Destil is literally playing a Magic the Gathering card.
That card's great.
He posted the actual card.
So,
That card's
all
so
right.
good.
There is the dead returned. Place yourself on the map where you want to be, please. You're down here.
Are these 5-foot squares?
Yes, they are 5-foot squares. How do you like the little figures I got for everybody?
These are good.
That's amazeballs.
I was planning to just load in one of my My Little Ponies. but this is fine.
That's a
too.
different Wizards RPG.
Which way are they coming?
Horse is the clock.
We will say they're coming from this direction.
Do they look like the same kind of horses as this return? Doesn't look like they're part of the same group. It looks like they were the ones shooting at him.
It does look like they're the one shooting. One of the returns is wielding a short bow, and the other one has a spear on his back.
But they are returned. They're wearing the gold masks.
They are returned,
Oh,
and
yeah, that's-
they jump down, and they immediately kind of threaten you with their weapons. And the word out of the returned with the bow's mouth, it's a female figure. She says, "Get away from the heretic bleeder," and she kind of like points her bow at you. And I need everybody to roll initiative.
Yeah, I see a solution to this problem.
I mean, I've been with Herbie long enough to know where this is going.
I look around at the room and I see 3 people who need a horse, and I see 3 horses. And I hold my axe.
This one with
Initiative
the
is
short bow is really close to us. Maybe he doesn't know how bows work.
Initiative
I
is
mean-
just Dex, right?
They made some bad choices.
Yeah, initiative is a dex check if you're not. If nothing
Yeah.
else.
And I forgot to make these, so we're just going to do this.
That's the nice thing about tokens. Problem solved.
Yep, problem solved. And for purposes of this, their horses are behind them, but they're not. The horses are not part of the combat, unless you just want to attack one for some reason.
No, we need those horses.
The horses aren't
Anyone who
returned.
attacks a horse isn't getting a horse.
All right, so at the top of the list we have Wadacles. There you go.
I walk up to this one, call on Thassa's power, and hopefully touch it and turn all of the water in its body to salt.
That sounds
So
pretty
that's a
good.
hit roll of 14 on an inflict wounds.
14 does not hit.
That's the end of my turn.
All right. So this one with the short bow is going to shoot you.
Looking for 16.
That is a 7 to hit. That's
Nope.
not going to do it. That's not a good first showing for my brand new, like, scientifically balanced D20.
It is. It's exactly as good a showing as anything else.
Nodal hush.
No, I wanted a crit, man. I'm gonna buy weighted dice next time. All right, Herbie, it's your turn.
I'm gonna step into the middle of these two guys here.
Yeah.
This seems like a pretty good place to stand.
Yeah, I like it.
Bonus action to rage. And let's see how great my axe is. It says it's great.
Well,
It's
we'll
okay.
see.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to downgrade you to a 1 dice size to an OK axe.
I have an 18 to hit.
That hits.
And I need... Oh, a D12. I love rolling D12s. It's awesome. Nice.
Hey!
So that's 19 damage? No,
Holy
not 19.
crap.
Sorry. 17 damage.
Okay. And you just like attack this poor returned woman and just almost obliterate her in a single hit.
Good.
She is very, very, very bloodied.
She has more hit points than I do.
Yes, they do.
That's it.
And it's
Not for long.
how do you say your name? Rain? Ren?
Ryan.
Ryan. Right. It's Ryan's turn.
Yep. I'm going to capitalize on the big old heavy damage there, and I'm going to attempt to finish it off with a Ray of Frost. I have a 15 to hit.
15 does hit.
I'm pleased to be enjoying 3 cold damage.
All right. As you hit this poor woman, undead woman, she appears to be on her basically last legs, but she's still standing. And it is
I'm
now
upset.
this returned with the spear's turn. And he is going to stab. Does a 19 hit Herbie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me see.
My
And
my
that
AC is booty butt cheeks.
booty butt cheeks.
Real
Oh,
easy
no.
to hit me. I'm like
All
I'm
right.
a goddamn horse. Big target.
All right. So you take 4 piercing damage and 5 poison damage
All right.
as the spear, like he kind of jams you in the booty butt cheeks with his spear
Mm-hmm.
since you're facing the other way. And there's a lot of booty butt cheeks to go around because you are, in fact, a centaur.
I am.
Let's see. It is measured response's turn.
All right. And I'm going to weigh my axe, look at the angle between Herbie and that short bow woman, take a big old swing at her.
All right.
That is a bad hit. Damn it, duck! Herbie, you're too tall.
Not really tall, wide.
What did you roll?
Give me 1 second here, sorry. There it is. That is a 9.
9 does not hit.
No.
As the returned kind of sways back / stumbles right outside of the path of your axe. She really is almost down. And let's see, we have Brygoo's.
Wisdom saving throw, please. The
Okay.
DC is 12.
Level 1 characters.
That will be an 11.
All right. That actually hit.
You sound surprised.
I am a little surprised. Also, I navigated away from Vicious Mockery. 1d4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really not expecting that to hit, but it'll do. Yeah, 4 force damage.
And then, which one are you attacking?
The one you're holding.
Okay. Well, that is enough to finish her off. She just kind of slumps to the ground as you burst a blood vessel in her brain with psychic energy, I guess.
You just
guess that's how
mocked
that
her to
works.
death.
Yeah, good job.
And
Take that off.
He's like, nice face, no face.
Wyatt,
let's
it's your
give,
turn.
bardic inspiration to old Herbie here.
Mm.
Wattacles, it's your turn.
Yeah, can the remaining returned please make me a DC 15 reflex saving throw as I again call on Thassa's power to sear with the fire of the sea?
No problem.
The what of the sea?
That passes. That's the end of my turn.
What kind of save was that, Destil?
Was a reflex.
What kind of save was
Dexterity.
that?
Yeah, dexterity. I got what he was saying.
I know. I'm being snotty. I apologize.
Oh, the revealer is a compass from Zelda. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, I've offered you that several times, and you
That's
always tell me
amazing.
no.
That's a great idea.
Do you want it?
It's so
No.
easily visible.
I much prefer my revealer. That's impossible to find.
I gotta think this is his first shot of it in action. Now he loves it.
I'm going to chop the returned in half with my axe.
Okay, good.
Did you have to check your character sheet for that?
Yes, I had to check my notes card there. That's gonna do it. This is D6 is my bardic inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's like 29, I think.
Let me double check. Yeah, that hits.
Barbarians are broken. 16 points of axe damage. This axe is pretty great.
It's a great axe.
All right.
I am slowly
you,
becoming convinced of its greatness.
As you have more than bloodied this guy in a single axe motion. We'll go with axe motion. And it is currently Ryan, thank you. I'll get it.
Ray of Frost at this guy. Hey, that's a crit.
That'll probably do it.
5 plus 5 is 10.
And
full damage to that other guy.
As you shoot this guy in the face and just like obliterate him, He moves no more. All right.
Are they wearing any distinctive religious iconography? They were
Certainly.
calling that guy a heretic.
So let's see. You start going through the bodies, and they're carrying little beyond like their gold funerary masks. By the way, one of the things that you all would know, kind of as common knowledge, is like the funerary masks are actually they're real gold, and they do have monetary value, but people don't like to purchase them because it's basically like going in to a shop and like pulling out a man's face and saying, "Here, buy this."
I'll
Like
take them anyway.
People view them as actual like the faces of sentient beings, and they don't like to buy them.
So, like, if we go into your church, can we just like trade this in?
Yeah, I feel like the followers of Aethros might have a slightly different take on that one.
Yeah. Do they have like a checkbox? Like we bring in 6 of these and we get something.
So in addition to their masks, which all by the way, when you take their mask off, they have this weird like kind of no face thing going on.
It's better that people see what these creatures actually are, rather than the false face they choose to portray.
So, in addition to the gold funerary masks, you find a small pouch containing 20 silver pieces and a broken piece of pottery. Can somebody... you all can make this check. Just give me an Arcana or Religion check.
I can make that. Maybe. We'll see.
Arcana or religion?
13 on religion.
Who just rolled my die?
3 on religion.
Nodal, what are you doing?
Yeah.
14.
Got 3.
Arcana.
I was taking that hit for you.
13.
Why W?
14.
So, anybody that made a 14 or higher, you know that you recognize that pottery shard as an ostraka. It's a shard from a clay funerary mask, which is used in currency in the underworld. They don't use gold in the underworld because gold is the most common substance down there. The actual just normal clay that the funerary masks are made of is much more valuable down there. On this ostraka, you notice a scratched note. It's a brief order from what appears to be the assassin's commander, and it says, "Silence the heretic Varias. His secrets must remain dead."
Well, they seem pretty dead at the moment,
Yep.
and we have this nice horse now.
What was the name on the note? Presumably the name of the arrowed man.
Yeah, Varias. Varyas. Are you going to leave Varias alone? You're going to take his mask as well?
I take all 3. As far as I'm concerned, like nobody in town in the polis will buy this, but I can melt down the gold into ingots back at my hermitage.
When you grab Varias' mask, you notice that it's a little different than the other ones. First of all, it doesn't have the frowny face that the other ones have on it.
Okay.
But on the back of the mask is just scribbles.
Is it meaningful scribbles? Can I make it out? Or
It looks like a cipher of some kind. The only word that you can kind of make out is the name Kia. That's how I'm going to decide to pronounce that.
Kia?
Khea.
He may be a dead man, but I appreciate his cheery outlook.
Is this name meaningful to anybody?
Make me an intelligence check.
Except for one.
Friends, I have a question.
Go for it.
This individual is one of the returned, and we have killed one of the returned.
Yes.
Can they return again?
We have killed 2 of the return.
We've killed 2 of the returned. But can they return again as part of this cycle?
It's actually a good question. I feel like I would know the answer, but I don't actually know the answer.
I don't know if they even talk about that.
Well, my perspective on the matter is, how would we know?
the way they're
They've given up their personality to come back.
Yeah,
It's not
Presumably
like
they
have
don't get
faces
it
to
back.
use again. Like you're not going to tell the difference between someone who's got one face and then someone who has negative one face.
The question you should be asking is, were they ever here in the first place?
While you guys are arguing about the nature of the returned and whether or not they can return a second time to be re-returned, all sound around you, just everything kind of, the ambient noise of just the outdoors kind of goes down to a whisper, and color just drains from the world. Everything becomes monochrome, with the exception of this gleaming golden mask that Herbie is carrying in his hands with the scribbles. A few seconds later, everything just returns to normal.
Do the rest of you see that?
Yeah. Do I have any idea what that was?
Make me an intelligence religion check.
So,
Religion?
for the record, because I can't figure out how to just add arbitrary items to this character sheet, I now am carrying what I'm calling 3 red dragon masks.
That's only a 10 on religion.
That
You
could
have
be
no
your share.
idea.
That seems like it's worth about a horse.
You have no idea
Okay.
what that was. Everybody can make that check if you want. It's not just him.
It was
Yeah,
kind of
that's a
check?
1.
You are even more clueless than Wadacles.
It seems like his cheerful personality has granted him some resistance.
14.
Okay?
Best I got.
Yeah, no.
Is there... Because one of the gods, as you said, was the first returned.
Yeah.
He kind of it's like the god of thieves, isn't it? So there's not going to be a
Yeah.
temple in the polis,
Yeah, Phoenix is the first of the return.
like the trickster god.
Yeah. He's a
Is he
big
going to
old
be
troll.
pissed at us for taking these masks?
I don't think he cares.
Okay, cool.
But they like a follower of Phoenix might be able to make sense of the scribblings inside the mask.
Those of you that pass the thing, that you recognize this as a sign from Phoenix, but you can't really twig to its meaning just yet. The meaning is unclear.
What constitutes a pass?
12.
Okay.
So basically just you.
Blessing of the gods.
Noticeably, the other pedestrians on the road, because there were quite a few that they kind of like backed away and kind of did that thing that crowds do where they watch an altercation. Nobody else seems to have like seen the vision that the 5 of you have. Like everybody's just kind of wandering around on their own business.
Measured response listens to Herbie give that explanation, and then holds up one large hand and shouts out, "Any followers of Phoenix?"
So you asked about the name Kia, and I do believe you guys. No, you asked, and then he asked about the mask, or excuse me, the religion thing. So I need you to make me an intelligence check, please, to check and see if you recognize the name. 10. That is just enough. You recognize the name as a sort of famous in the area sage. You don't exactly know where she lives. You know that she is in the area somewhere. And again, that's basically all that 10's going to get you. But you do recognize the name as the name of a locally famous sage.
She lives in the vicinity of Melites, or she lives in the polis itself?
She lives in the vicinity. You don't think she lives in the city, but you don't know for sure.
All right, well, we can find out. That's easy enough.
Yep.
So, are you done at the scene of the crime? You guys want to go on to Melites?
Scene of the crime.
Unless my good friend here, Herbie, has any idea what to do with the bodies.
Oh, by the way, unfortunately, measured response, the 2 horses of the return bolted away.
Like hell they did.
Listen, the module specifically says that the horses bolt as soon as they've returned or dead.
Oh no.
I'm a barbarian. I'm chasing after it. I can catch that son of a bitch. I got more strength than it does.
I'm
Just
trying to
gonna,
look
like-
up. I'm trying to remember if Athreos concerns himself with like funerary rites or anything like that. I don't.
I feel like it's just the passage of souls,
It's
but
just, yeah, there's a separate
that's
god
I
of
get the
death.
Magic the Gathering flavor text and nothing else.
It's Erebos.
Erebos
and-
is the god of
Yeah,
death.
Erebos. Yep.
So yeah, no, I mean we could just drag these bodies off the road as far as I'm concerned.
Sounds good to me.
I mean, they've already died once, right?
Sure.
They already had their funeral
Not
once.
getting any more alive.
I expect I do this semi-frequently. Just nobody else wants these masks, but I'm not gonna let the good metal go to waste. When I sell the ingots to market a month from now, they won't know they were once masks.
Oh, everyone knows what you're doing when you come out of the hermitage with a bunch of gold ingots. No one's questioning. Whoa, where'd that come from?
He's got a mine under his shanty.
They're just too polite to say.
Right.
So you guys drag the bodies off camera and walk down the road for another hour. And after a bit, the polis of Militis is in view, and it is a grand sight. And this strikes you as a place where many adventurers might be had, but unfortunately, that is outside of the scope of what we're doing here today.
But not in this
So,
book.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to have exactly one adventure.
Yep.
So you guys are kind of in the outskirts of the city currently. You have access to pretty much just anything that you might get into city. There's there's public libraries and any various sources of information you can kind of consult about the name, the Sage.
Yeah, I'm gonna tend to whatever non-specific business I have in town, and then start asking around about Kia.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna. I want to go into some of the local eateries and ask around if anybody's seen her or him. Do we know the gender?
it is a woman.
I'm
She
gonna
is
go
a
to
female human.
I'm gonna go to the local temple of Kronos because it seems like something that they would keep track of.
Okay.
I can
Uh,
get my dating and my searching on at the same time.
About an hour after you guys arrive in the polis, just your various asking around, like people they just know who she is, and they kind of point you in her direction pretty easily. She's a well-known, like, minor, I guess, celebrity. She's not like Kardashian level, but you know, the people in the city know who she is,
We
and they
come-
know. Oh,
Kia the twerking sage.
Does she have any CDs?
no. She is a local sage of some renown, and once you have kind of connected the dots between, like, you know, this is the name of the person we're looking for. We know she's a sage. Can you tell us where she's at? It's pretty easy to get directions to her cottage.
Is there any indication that she has a connection to the Returned at all? Is that part of her, like, local celebrity?
No, there is no like overt connection that you can tell. Like, she's not known to associate with the Returned, or particularly that she's just a sage that lives in the a couple hours.
I mean,
Like, it's let's see.
It's nighttime now, right?
No, it is still. I'd say it's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You spend about an hour asking around the polis.
Okay.
You were only an hour outside the polis itself when you were accosted by the Returned, and it only took you an hour to ask around and get directions. So again, it's just early afternoon.
Okay, I'm gonna take a short rest, and then I'm gonna head out and speak to Kia about why her name is on the back of a man's face.
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Sounds
That's
good.
Sounds
So you guys take your short rest and gather together your supplies and things, and just make for the short hike. It's only a 3 or 4 hour hike, so it would be 6 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon by the time you get there. Still daylight, but getting on in the afternoon for sure. And you come across like this nondescript cottage.
Is it like aggressively nondescript?
It just says, it describes it as a nondescript cottage. Her home is small and cramped, crowded with drying lavender, and inside the window you can see bookshelves with histories written in what you can only imagine are dozens of languages. You see a female human woman kind of moving about the inside of the cottage busily, and she doesn't seem to notice you kind of peeking in because you're a little far back. It's a big bay window is what it is. And what do you do?
Politely knock on the door? Question mark?
Okay.
I guess.
You knock on the door, and after a minute, the door cracks open, and a very kind of angry, "What?"
I just hold up the mask. Mask.
Are you Kia?
So?
Kia?
Why is your name on this man's face?
She looks at you, and she looks at the mask, and she says, "My name's on lots of things. Roll me a persuasion check."
I'm not gonna lie.
You
not
have
my strong
advantage.
suit. Oh, I do, huh? Well, I'm gonna need it because that was a 2.
Roll better.
That's gonna be. Actually, I'm not terrible at this. 18. I do have a +1 to this for some reason.
Oh, well, that succeeds. She goes, the sage kind of lets out a sigh and says, "Well, come in. We'll get to the bottom of this."
What other things is your name on?
And she kind of gestures at the scrolls and stuff on the walls. Like, lots of, he goes, "I'm a bit of an academic."
But I take it your name's never been scribed on the inside of a mask of a return, yes?
"Not that I'm aware of." And she kind of holds out her hand to Herbie.
Like, hand her the mask.
And she looks at it, and she's kind of holding it up to the ceiling, kind of looking at it, flipping it around over there. And then she just, after like staring at her for a couple of minutes, she kind of looks at you all and like raises an eyebrow and stares at you.
Can you read what it says?
I'll tell the story of what happened and how we came with this mask.
Because it's not just her name in the map; it's all the scribbles and scrolls.
All
and
kinds of scribblings, yeah.
Yeah. So, can you read what's inside the mask? You are a sage, after all.
She goes, "Well, I need to study it. So give me some." Okay. Give me some time. And she kind of gestures you / shoos you out of her work area. She like gestures you to like, I don't know, like a kitchen nook or something.
Great.
Where you can get some tea.
I'll start fixing a meal for my companions who no doubt are weary from hours of traveling on the road.
It's all right. I rode my 2 horses.
Nodal, I'm sorry. The horses are gone.
They're not freaking gone. I
They're
won't
gone.
take this. Will
They're
not
gone.
accept it.
I'm sorry. You just.
Well,
have
I
the
got
one
that
horse.
first horse though,
You
right?
do have the. You guys do have the first horse.
I had to carry that one though on my back because he's very sleepy. But I love him.
It's a female horse.
I love her.
Her name is Fotina.
I don't like that you named the horse. I'm just gonna say that.
I
It
didn't.
weirds me out.
Treb-
you as a hen. Centaur.
Treble told us the name of the horse.
The name of it's.
How do we know the name of the horse?
It's on the
Because-
bridle.
Bridle.
Oh, that's what they called the horse.
What are you calling it for?
Horsey.
Steve.
I will get back to you.
Okay.
Anyway, you guys like lounge around for a couple hours, 2 or 3, we'd say, and it's starting to get on into the dark, like the dark part of the night when Kia comes back in the room and she's holding the mask and she's got like this triumphant look on her face, and she says, I've consulted the scrolls from my collection, and I have confirmed that this is an unusual code.
And Measured Response has been waiting for multiple hours to hear her say that it's a code, and just looks at her.
He goes, unfortunately, the majority of the code is incomplete. We do not have the entire cipher. The only thing that is complete, and she reads, she points at one of the top corners of the mask. She says, is this first stanza. You're probably going to want to write this down. Hid from eyes of mortals and gods, lies wither in Orestes' rot. Orestes'?
Can you make me a copy of that? Because I'm going to have trouble spelling that.
Mm-hmm.
Says Measured Response.
Yes, I can.
Are you able to copy and paste that into the party chat?
Nodal just asked that.
Yep. There you go. This text appears to be purposely direct. It's a line from a prayer to Phoenix. As for the rest, it's not only a cipher, but it's, like I said, an incomplete one. There are letters that have been removed from the message in just some indiscernible pattern. Without knowing what the other letters are, the writing is going to be impossible to decode. Even with magic, believe me, I tried. It just isn't a meaningful message in the partial form for magic to translate.
Is the name Orestes known to you?
And she, I do recognize the name Orestes. The line of verse could refer to the court of Orestes, the legendary tomb of one of Phoenix's earliest followers. Orestes was said to be a master thief and an oracle who foresaw who would become a returned. According to the myth, the site also holds Phoenix's silence, though no one really knows if the name is for an actual object or it's just merely poetic flourish. You know how bards are.
It's for an actual object, because someone killed somebody for this mask. I can answer that riddle for you right now.
Well, I don't know about that, but I can be fairly certain that the fact that this is the only readable line leads me to believe that the key to translating the full message lies in this tomb.
I ask if maybe there are better sages that have the whole cipher.
She raises an eyebrow at you.
Is that a line from a published larger work, or is that just something that's only on this mask?
It's the word they use is paean, but I do believe that's just a prayer, right? That's what that word means. Yeah.
Okay.
Paean, yeah.
It's a paean to Phoenix.
Is that an accepted paean? Is there a canon of Phoenix I could find the rest of the paean in?
Probably. But I don't have access to that, so I'm going to
I don't believe it would be useful. And here's my reasoning. Is that this is a god of thieves, right?
Sure.
And we found this mask with this message from the god of fiends, that we bring it to a sage and we get this small bit of verse. It strikes me that the rest of it probably isn't the actual verse. This is some sort of riddle or challenge to would-be thieves.
He goes, Kia lowers her eyebrow and says, unfortunately, the exact location of the court of Orestes is lost to history. But, he goes, and she kind of reaches down into a pouch in her apron and pulls out a scroll, and it says, ancient tales hint that it lies along the Kistonos River, the river, you guys, this would be common knowledge, is about 3 days travel from like any of the polises kind of centered. He goes, normally such information of like, it's just somewhere on the river would mean little, except I have heard of an earthquake that has dammed the headwaters of the Castonos deep in the Catachan Mountains. As a result, the river's flow has been reduced to a trickle for nearly a month, parching the region downstream, which is probably meant to kind of lead into another adventure. Although this event has deeply concerned the farmers, the discovery of there has been discoveries of ancient etchings and ruined structures hidden beneath the waterline that has roused many of my colleagues' interest.
Yeah, well, the farmers better get on pace with Thassa's plan.
This all makes sense. The gods provide.
I gotta say, I'm really looking forward to profaning the tomb of a follower of Phoenix. I'm down for this.
I'm completely on board with anything that continues to mess with the way the river's there. It's obviously not in the right place.
Profaning the tomb of a follower of Phoenix isn't as satisfying as you would think. Afterwards, they claim that they always meant for you to profane the tomb.
Well, I point this out. What if Thassa's plan for the river has been usurped by Phoenix through some trick?
So what exactly did you guys tell Kia? Like, just your name is on this, translate it?
Yeah, that's all we know.
Basically,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like she went back to her office immediately after we told her that.
Yeah.
I'm also going to mention. I'm also going to mention the episode we had.
I mentioned the horses that ran away at 200 feet per second, evading my grasp.
Listen, they get dash as a bonus action. They were really good horses, and you just missed out. You were just too slow.
Over time, it doesn't matter what, the water will find its way to wear itself into Thassa's plan. A thief can take a stone or a piece of coral or whatever. In the grand scheme, it won't matter. Not that I wouldn't completely enjoy wrecking their face for such a thing.
Kia asks you where you got the mask from. She goes, she unfortunately didn't have the presence of mind to ask you before. She ran off to like consult her scrolls and solve the puzzle.
I tell her that I collect them off the faces of dead returned.
And she kind of raises her eyebrow at you and says, so you murder people and steal their faces?
It's hard to say. It's hard to call it murder when they're already dead. I'm sending them rightfully back to the river guide.
Also, this one was dead.
Yeah, I
But
feel like you
dead
shouldn't be taking
as
credit
in-
for return that you did not slay.
Yeah, other returned killed this returned.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this
And
dead
given that they were
was
calling him a
weed
heretic and now we're involved with the god of thieves, that all seems to add up.
A heretic, you say? Did they
Yeah.
happen to say his name?
Probably, but I forgot since it was like an hour ago.
Various.
When you mention the name Varias, Kia like perks up and she reaches back into her pouch and pulls out another scroll and kind of throws it over her shoulder. And then she does this for a few minutes, and then like there's a small pile behind her, and she pulls out one. She says, "Ah, yes, Varias." She goes, "I recognize that name. Varias has been dead for a little while." He goes, "He was a dangerous, almost rabble-rousing oracle who was devoted to Phoenix, and he died mysteriously some years ago. I don't know if the return you found was actually him, but Varias has caused me personal trouble on more than one occasion."
That was
I'm
really
of
like
the
some sort of sage pecking order and trying to push you to the bottom of it.
I was.
She kind of she looks at you and she nods vehemently. She goes, "He savaged me in his," and she just starts mumbling about like the satyr's half form, like it's a couple of you recognize it as this satirical comedy. Like, I wouldn't put it past this petty priest to harass me even in death.
Oh yes, I saw that one. It was very.
Oh, wait. Have you
I was.
considered- No, go ahead.
I was under the impression that that a return forsakes his or her identity, it's his very existence, to come back to this side.
And she will confirm that that is indeed the case. To walk the path of Phoenix, you have to discard your identity so that the underworld cannot find you on your way back out.
Then what? Then whoever this fellow is must have made that terrible mistake and was chased after for it.
Is this something that happens, like a returned gets back and then they... Because they were calling him a heretic.
Well, roll me a religion check.
Sure.
You have considered the remaining scribbles you can't make out might just be a personal insult to you, right?
She looks very upset at this prospect.
I mean, your
you
name's
make
right there. It could be the subject of the sentence. Were you not including your the name in part of the deciphering?
That's a 10 on religion.
You get a advantage. I was going to give you advantage, but
okay.
Destil
What?
was insulting my poor sage.
That's a 13 on religion.
I wasn't insulting her. Her dead adversary was insulting her from beyond the grave, and I was making sure she was aware of it.
13. You. What was the question? What was your question again?
If this is something that happens, like a returned comes back, and it's
No.
by becoming
Generally speaking, returned come back, and Phoenix actually provides for them pretty well. He tries to make the necropolises relatively comfortable and things like that. A lot of the times, he doesn't like go out of his way to provide for them, but he does do some like basic care. Like he does show some care for the returned, and for that reason, most of the returned do worship him.
Mhm.
There is, however, a group of returned that worship. I forget if it's Erebos. I think it's Erebos. They worship, yeah. And they are more or less in the same camp as you. So either this returned with the mask was one of the returned aligned with Phoenix, or in the group that was chasing him was aligned with Erebos, or the vice versa.
They're all the same to me.
So
I'm inclined to make the journey out to this tomb and see if I can wreck up the joint.
You're gonna wreck up the joint, just burn the whole tomb down, huh?
Well, we're going to plunder it first.
I mean, the waters are eventually going to cleanse it, but I wouldn't mind getting my look in there beforehand.
This seems like a riddle that we could solve.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just here to learn things.
Ragu's looks deep in thought.
Come on, everyone, get your personality out.
Kay reaches back into her apron and just kind of she starts pulling a very large scroll out, and she kind of like unfurls it, and it's a map of the region, and I don't have the map up here, but basically, and she kind of like makes a copy of it and gives it to you. So basically you have a point A, point B map to tell you to how to get to where in the area the tomb these scribbles and ruins were found along the river.
This seems very useful. If you continue being mocked, you could find a profession as a cartographer.
She raises an eyebrow at you.
She has very strong eyebrows.
I can
listen.
get us there. It's no problem.
Okay, I want to point. This is exactly how they describe. This is they only give 2 personality traits for this oracle. 1, she will not say a word when an eyebrow raise will do the trick, and 2, that Kiros mocked her in a play. That's it. That's all they give.
It was a very amusing play, too. You were me fooled, though.
It was very entertaining.
Wow, that's a
Varios.
little reference.
So,
Working under the assumption that that returned was in fact Varios. Varios was wearing this mask, and decipher in this mask that is nearly impossible to decipher, but your name is within this mask. And you are telling us all of this information about the
Yes.
tomb that we should go to and everything.
And she
I'm
kind of
stuck.
nods her head. She goes, "Yes, and if you'll bring me back in rubbings and any historical artifacts from the tomb, I will pay you handsomely." And she reaches into her pouch and she pulls out like this big, like comically large bag, and she starts jingling it.
I
And then
agree to this, but I have no intention of doing that.
I suspect that you were meant to come along or, in fact, do this journey yourself.
Oh heavens, no!
Hmm. Convenient that.
Field work is very good for the body.
Why do field work when you could pay somebody to do it for you?
Putting a mace through someone's also pretty good for the soul.
I love a good adventure, so I will agree to do this. But I do have my reservation.
And then after
So-
we finish plundering the tomb, we can go chase down the fastest horses in Theros.
Yep. They have the these horses, right? They have the ability to, as an action, to like double their movement speed, and then they can dash as a bonus action.
We're gonna get 'em.
Right. So it's a 1-2 with haste. I got it. Right.
All right.
Right,
So
yeah.
here's what I'm thinking. We invent flypaper, right? But instead of flypaper,
Horse
it's
paper.
horse paper.
Yeah.
What are you
I'm
gonna do?
100%
Put it in the
with you.
circus? Put it in the circus tent?